Welcome, everybody, in the Klein Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin. The Rebels set to take on, of course, the 3-1-6 Diamond Kings. Interestingly enough, earlier on in the season, the Diamond Kings did go 2-0 in their previous two matchups roughly a month ago against the Newton Rebels. Both of those games, of course, played right here in Klein Scott Field. For this game, however, it's kind of interesting. The Newton Rebels going to be counted as the visiting team due to the fact that the Diamond Kings do not have, of course, their home diamond, however you want to put it necessarily. Mark McBrantley leads the Kings from the head coaching spot, and as always, Justin Hinesley leads the hometown Newton Rebels, who will be coming out here tonight with an overall record of 3-18, trying to turn their season around. One of the big things that have kind of hindered, I feel like, the Newton Rebels this season has kind of just been the lack of consistent pitching. There's been plenty of times where they've kind of found themselves down in a hole early on in the contest, and then after, to go down a few runs, it's just trying to pick back up momentum. And that's not good for any baseball team, to be honest with you, here in, of course, the Jayhawk Collegiate League Conference. Number 12, Chris Clark, can be starting us off here once again. Newton Rebels being counted as the visiting team, therefore they will be batting first, trying to pick up their fourth win of the season and try to maybe right their wrongs a little bit. Chris Clark first up in the batting rotation as Jerry Lopez remains out of the lineup after suffering a shoulder injury roughly 1, maybe 2 weeks ago. Who's counting the days? Clark, foul number 1 on the first pitch from the Kings. Once again, top of the first. 0-1 count. Chris Clark up to bat. Foul number 2. And strike number 2, 0-2 count. This pitch in, and Clark swinging for the fences again. Another foul ball. Third foul, going to keep the count at 0-2. Here in Klein Scott Field, still getting everything kind of on track here. Fourth pitch from the Kings comes in low and to the inside. No swing from Clark. Good job. Going to move the count over to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Next pitch in, another foul. Chris Clark keeping himself alive. Clark obviously shown some aggressiveness here early on in the first at-bat of the contest. Newton Rebels once again trying to kind of pick up the pace here a little bit as we kind of enter this final stretch of the regular season, and Clark swings down low at the ball that almost went into the dirt. First strikeout of the ball game. Ethan McCallie going to be next up here, batting second up in the lineup. Haven't really heard a lot from him over the course of the previous few games, but nevertheless, going to try to make an impact here today in Klein Scott Field. Number 30 takes a swing at it, going to stay in the infield. He's going to try to beat the throw over to first, but he is unsuccessful. Big number 30 gets out, second out, top of the first. It's Shenyan Zheng, the Jayhawk Collegiate League All-Star participant. The game took place roughly a week ago in Wichita, Kansas. Actually suffered a bit of an injury in that ball game. He took the last game off the non-conference ball game against the Heat. He's back in the lineup today, strike one. 2 outs once again, top of the first. Carlos Arriaga, one of the many talented players for the Kings this year. Landon Haynes starting off today on the mound for the Diamond Kings. Already 9 pitches in, 0-2 count. Another foul, going to keep it 0-2. The Rebels swinging at everything, it seems like, trying to get some runners on base here early on. Interesting strategy for head coach Justin Hines. Next pitch inside, going to be called a ball. 1-2 count. Already 2 outs, so once again, top of the first. Chris Clark got striked out in his first at-bat, top of the rotation. A bit of the returning Ethan McCallie got caught out at first. Could not quite beat the throw, therefore 2 outs, and now looking at a 1-2 count, another foul ball. Haynes, another one in, and another swing from the Newton Rebels. The third out real quick in the top of the first. Of course, once again, the Newton Rebels batting first here in Klein Scott Field due to the fact that they are seen as the away team as the Diamond Kings do not quite have a home for this season. But, hey, no harm, no foul. I don't think the Rebels really complaining about it too much. Coming up, bottom of the first, the Newton Rebels going to try and keep the Kings off base and get out of the first inning unscathed. Welcome back into Klein Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin. We just saw top of the first where the Rebels were up to bat but quickly, I should say, suffered 3 straight outs. Could not quite get a run up on the board. Couldn't even get a base hit. But still a lot of game to be played here in Klein Scott Field. Only 3 minutes into this one after that quick, once again, top of the first. That saw the Kings keep the Rebels off of first, off of second, and off of third base. Leading to no runs being given up. Coming up now, Bryson Harding going to kick off on the mound for the Newton Rebels. Gunnar Hewitt going to be first up to bat here today for the Diamond Kings. Rebels preparing to play 8 of their final 12 regular season matchups right here in Klein Scott Field. Come out and support, of course, your Newton Rebels. Bryson Harding winds up, fires the first one in there, called strike. Strike one, 0-1 count. Again, bottom of the first, the Rebels trying to pick up their 4th win of the season here in Klein Scott Field over the Diamond Kings. And that one, hard contact between center and right field. The outfielders can't quite get underneath it. Chris Clark fires it over to second, and they will keep Hewitt at bay. Or at least resting over at second base. A quick double for the Diamond Kings. Van Hanberg now at Wichita, Kansas is going to step up here. Big number 75. Bottom of the first. Still 0-0, but Hewitt just had a big-time gain. Big-time hit between Chris Clark at center field and also right field. Got the quick double. He's now right back behind Bryson Harding fires in his third pitch of the evening, strike one. Van Hanberg once again at a West Wichita takes the next one to the outside. Then we called a ball, 1-1 count. Also an interesting strategy we just saw. The Rebels weren't really holding back in terms of swinging their bats at some of those pitches early on from the Diamond Kings. Justin Hinesley, head coach for the Rebels, probably in the air trying to get them a little bit more, aggressive early on, trying to, instead of falling behind early themselves, trying to kind of push the emphasis against their opponent. 1-2 count. Bottom of the first. No outs. Runner on second. In scoring position, Harding looks back. Fire in the pitch. And that one called for the strike in the very first. Mark Fox. Ligon Realtor strike. I don't want to talk over the PA announcer right there. Strike one. Or strike three, I should say. Out number one. What am I even saying here in the bottom of the first? Up to bat is Austin Winter. One of the more consistent and on-the-ball hitters for the Kings this season. Leading them in terms of batting average so far in their 2024 campaign. Now facing a 1-0 count. Bryson Harding. Big number 19 looks back. Fires in the 1-0 pitch heavily to the inside. Testing Winter early on, 2-0 count. Bryson Harding off to a hot start, already a strikeout. Here in the bottom of the first, fires in the next one, and that one gets a little bit too high. Called ball, 3-0 count. Jody Lopez, the versatile do-it-all shortstop for the Newton Rebels this season, out for another game. They're suffering once again a shoulder injury over the past handful of weeks. Big time presence of missed between second and third base, and also at the top of the batting rotation, 3-1 count. Winter contact right over the spot of the shortstop. Runners now rounding the base, and Winter sends Hewitt over to third, and he's going to rest over at first. Now runner in Scott's prime scoring position as they're only 4 deep through the batting rotation. Haynes next up going to take on Bryson Harding. Runners on first and third. Only one out here, bottom of the first. The Kings hold all the cards proverbially. Chris Clark looking on from center field. Center field spot, and now another hard hit into left field. And the Rebels can't quite get underneath it. Runners rounding the bases now. One heads home, and another two going to rest in scoring position second and third, respectively. The Kings already off to an early 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first. An aircraft actually flying over Klein Scout Field. I mean, I didn't know we ordered an air show. Who the heck knows? Crop duster. Not a farmer. I mean, I don't know. I don't know my aircrafts. Jeez Louise. Bryson Harding, pitch number 14. Roughly heads in there. 1-0 count. There's on second and third. 1-0 pitch. Fired in. Inside and up top. 2-0. 2 more balls would load up the bases here for the Kings early on. Not something that the Rebels want to see. Once again here in Klein Scott Field. 7:09 p.m. The toasty one out there, but no wind in sight. Little clouds, little overcast. Called ball. 3-0 count. Harding loads up and fouled straight into the catch fence off the swing. Boomsma. Once again in the box for the Diamond Kings. And another swing, foul right into the catch fence, right behind the batter once again. On the season, the Diamond Kings 3-13. Rebels once again 3-18, and that is going to be a strikeout for Bryson Harding, the very first Mark Fox Wiegand Realtor strikeout for the Newton Rebels. Should say second. 2 outs, bottom of the first. We set the count. Once again, 2 runners in scoring position on second and third. For the Diamond Kings, the Rebels not trying to give up any early runs here. Put themselves into a hole early on. They already gave up 1. Bottom of the first, I want to make it 2, maybe even 3. Pitch in, ball inside. Smith stares down Gardner, swings at it, heads straight up. And the Rebels are going to try and bring down the foul ball. And they are successful. Tremendous job in the infield of bringing down that heads-up play. We'll try to figure out who's playing catcher tonight. It's not Ryan Ruggiero. It's also not Shenyan Zhang, the JL Collegiate League All-Star. We're trying to get that name down here for you, but a big-time play leads to the end of the bottom of the first. 3 outs. The Kings leading 1 run to none. Welcome back, Klein Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin. The Diamond Kings with a 3-13 overall record, according to the internet at least, taking on the 3-18 Newton Rebels. The Rebels trying to pick up their 4th win of the season here in Klein Scott Field. Once again, counted as the visiting squad tonight in their home field. I should say 0-1 count. Jack Gardner, big number 4, up to bat. Pitch in down low. Gardner going to face a 1-1 count. Once again, in the top of the second. The Kings in the bottom of the first got 1 run. And then Gardner will get the Rebels on base for the first time today in Klein Scott Field. Rounds his way past first and now over to second, where he will slide his way and be called safe. A quick double from Jack Gardner gets some momentum. On the board for the Newton Rebels, Drew Wardell regularly playing the first baseman spot for the Newton Rebels, up to bat. Once again, big time play from Jack Gardner. Fired that ball off the swing, but right between center and right field. Gets him on base. Gets him all the way over second base, right behind the starting pitcher for the Kings, who fires this one in there and called ball. Number 11, once again, Drew Wardell up to bat. Was an out-of-control pitch. He almost told Gardner to kind of make his way over to third, but Gardner going to think otherwise, going to stay over at second. No outs. Top of the second, Jack Gardner. At second, Drew Wardell trying to send him home. Big swing and a miss. Strike number 2. 1-2 count. Another swing and a foul that time from Drew Wardell. Had a lot of hang time on it, but thankfully for the Rebels, heads out of play and over the fence. 1-2 count. For now. Yep, going to say 1-2. Pitch in and no swing, Wardell. Well, actually, no, the umpire going to think otherwise. Wardell swung just enough to get caught for the third strike in that sequence and the first strikeout of the top of the second. Jack Gardner swung his way all the way over to second. We saw earlier on in this half inning. Now trying to head home here. Marcus Pollard next up, big number 49. Pitch in, strike 1. Next one in, and Pollard going to foul that one off to the right side. Going to just stay out of play and to the right side of the foul line. 0-2 count. Thank you to some of our financial partners this season for the Newton Rebels Armor Coatings of Wichita. Newton Rebels founder Carl Hodges and family, John Oldham family, Conradi Insurance Group, and Patridge Roofing Services. 0-2 pitch. Coming up. Fired in. Down low. Out of control pitch. Jack Gardner heads from second to third. And Gardner looks to be in prime position to tie this game up. 1 run apiece, but can Marcus Pollard get a piece of it himself? We shall see. 1-2 pitch coming up. Top of the second, still only 1 out. Just saw quick strikeout of Drew Wardell. Pollard receives the pitch and fires that one into right field. And an error out in right field going to send Jack Gardner home. Marcus Pollard going to stay over at first for the Newton Rebels, but a quick single RBI for Marcus Pollard ties it up. 1 run for the Rebels, 1 run for the Kings here early on in the top of the second. And next up to bat, Colby Gomez after Marcus Pollard gets sent. Jack Gardner from third to home, thus tying this game up 1 run apiece. The Rebels looking for their 4th win of the season. Marcus Pollard thought about taking off with it, but the pitch called strike. He has a head back. 0-1 count, 1 out. Top of the second, the Kings tied up with the Rebels. 1 run apiece. And the Rebels get a piece of that one. Speaking of, stays just in play. Marcus Pollard running over to third, rounding the bases, and a quick double put up by Colby Gomez. And next up, going to be Connor Chesa.
Now batting number 17, Connor Chesa.
2 runners in scoring position now for the Rebels. Are looking to get another win in the overall wins column of 2024. 1 out here, still in the top of the second. Bit of a run going on now for the Rebels. Once again, earlier on in the season, the Diamond Kings swept the Rebels in their early 2-game series, both games played here in Klein Scott Field in early June. Rebels trying to avenge that and pick up a much-needed win as they head into the downward stretch of their regular season 0-1 count. Chaso swings at it. Strike one more time. Fouled straight back off the swing. 0-2 count. Landon Haynes setting up. Looks back. Fires in the pitch. And Chaso contact straight over to third. The Rebels did keep themselves out of contention for the double play from the opposing defensive side, but Do sacrifice Chaso over at first, but not before Marcus Pollard made his way home. Big number 49. Putting the Rebels up here in the top of the second. 2 runs, 2-1. One, of course, being the total for the Kings. Once again, in the top of the second. 1 out. Blake Koss next up to bat for the Newton Rebels. Big swing and a miss from Koss. Going to bring up the 0-1 count. Haynes still in pitching. 30 pitches in to be exact here so far this afternoon. That one sent in again, and Koss makes contact, fouled off to the right side. Blake Koss, a right-handed pitcher at a Pratt Community College, also plays or spent some time in the infield as well on the defensive side at Pratt, Kansas. 0-2 pitch, fired in, and Koss makes contact over to the shortstop. It's like Van Hanberg for the Diamond Kings, and he gets Koss out at first, but not before. Once again, the Rebels took the 2-1 lead here in Klein Scott Field in the top of the second. Bottom of the second coming up here. Once again, the Rebels being counted as the visiting team this evening here in Klein Scott Field, trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. We'll be back. Bottom of the second coming up here in Newton, Kansas. Welcome back into Klein Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin, and usually we see Jewel Wardell kind of strapped out there on the first base spot on the defensive side, but today he's behind home plate, filling in at the catching spot, as we mentioned earlier on, at least in the previous home matchup on that stream. You should go check it out. The Rebels kind of facing some depth issues at catcher with Ryan Ruggiero, and Zhang kind of suffering some mid-season injuries, but I guess next man up, 1-0 count. Pitch in, looks to be back-to-back low throws from Bryson Harding, leading to the 2-0 count here early on in the bottom of the second here in Klein Scott Field. Harding 2-0 pitch, fired in and called strike. Boone's going back up to bat for the Kings. Now faces the 3-1 count. Umpire not making it easy on Bryson Harding so far in this one. A lot of balls being called, and that one fired into left field, and the Rebels bring it down 1 out. Bottom of the second. Wharton going to be next up to bat for the Diamond Kings, who trail the Newton Rebels by a score of 2-1 after a top of the second, where the Rebels put up 2 runs, thus negating the 1 run that was put up in the bottom of the first by the Kings. Drew Wardell actually brought it into the bottom of the first, picking up a beautiful foul ball, plucking it out of the air behind home plate. Once again, filling in behind home plate in the catching spot today, the likes of Ryan Ruggiero and Shenyan Zheng. 1-1 count. Bottom of the second, 1 out. That one fouled off. Wardell fires it back over to Bryson Harding on the mound, and he sets back up. Steps off, winds up, and fires in that ball to the outside, 2-2 count. Newton Rebels once again founded back in the year 2000, made the World Series in Wichita a total of 14 times over their time in the Jayhawk Collegiate League. Drew Wardell pulls in the next signal. Ooh, looked to be straight down the strike zone from up here, but the umpire thinks differently. Walk over to first, and the Kings back on base. Stuckey now going to be next up to bat for the Diamond Kings. 9th in the batting rotation tonight. The outfielder getting some time inside the batter's box. Mark McBratney leading the Diamond Kings for the head coaching spot. 0-1 count, 1 out, bottom of the second. Pitch in, and it goes straight over to Harding, who gets it over to second, and the Rebels convert on the double play to end the bottom of the second and send us into the top of the third. A big-time defensive stand once again leads to the end of the second inning. Top of the third coming up here. The Rebels going to try to take over once again and continue their early game run here in Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. The Rebels lead here heading into the top of the third. 2 runs, 2-1. 2 runs were put up in the top of the second by the likes of Marcus Pollard and Jack Gardner. And now Chris Clark going to try and keep this momentum going here. Top of the batting rotation starting us off here in the top of the third. No swing, ball 1. Pitch went in a little bit high to the outside. 1-0 pitch. Fired in, and Clark contact made again in his first at-bat of the game. We saw him basically swing for the fences every single time he had the chance. Head coach Justin Hinesley, no doubt, kind of telling his batters to step in there and take no proverbial prisoners. Another foul ball leads to the second strike of the sequence. 1-2 count for Chris Clark. Clark also takes some time in the center field spot on the defensive side. Big number 12. Number 12, no swing, and called a strike, a quick strikeout to start off the top of the third. Ethan McCallie, once again, a kind of a welcome back to the lineup for him. He was out of it for quite a while, but now bring his way back in. Jody Lopez, normally at the top of the batting rotation for the Newton Rebels, still out of action after suffering a shoulder injury a little while ago. 1 out. And contact made over to second base and an out over to first. Not something that Callie wanted to see. 2 outs now, top of the third. Shenyan Zhang going to step up here. Jayhawk Collegiate League All-Star for the 2024 season. Going to try and keep his kind of momentum going on the season here. Kind of emerged as a little bit of a fan favorite out of Taiwan. 2 outs, top of the third. Pitch comes in to the dirt. Ball number 1. Zhang going to face a 1-0 count here. No runners on base quite yet for the Newton Rebels. Here in the top of the third, this fast-moving affair at Klein Scott Field. 1-0 pitch in and to the inside. Almost made contact with Zhang up top, but luckily he leaned backwards. 2-0 count. 2-0 pitch comes in and another ball. Zhang not really getting tested here. 3-0 count. And the 3-0 pitch is fired in up top, and Zhang gonna be making the long walk over to first. Don't think he's really complaining that much, though. The Rebels back on base.
Now batting number 4, Jack Gardner.
Now Jack Gardner up next. We saw earlier on in the top of the second, exactly 1 inning ago, he fired a hit straight between center and right field. Led to him getting his way over to second base and eventually rounding the bases and putting up a run for the Newton Rebels. And Gardner, contact made, foul ball to the left side. Gotta kind of think about what's got to go through his head here. Obviously, some success in the top of the second, but you don't want to get too ahead of yourselves and make some impromptu swings here in the top of the third to respond. Nevertheless, an 0-1 count. Make it 0-2. Called strike. The downward velocity pitch. 2 outs. Zhang on second. Got walked all the way over there in the top of the third. Jack Gardner up to bat. Makes contact, but a foul off to the right side. Goes right behind him. Count going to stay 0-2. Once again, Zhang on first. Trying to advance all the way around and put the third run on the board for the Newton Rebels. Coach Hinesley kind of barking out orders also to the batter's box where Jack Gardner swings at another one and fouls it off once again. Count going to stay 0-2. Already 47 pitches on the day for the home Diamond Kings. Landon Haynes staying in the game all day long. Of course, the pitcher here today, but sometimes he fills in at the first base spot. 1-2 count. Two outs, top of the third, and Gardner swings low at that one and leads to him making a long walk back himself instead of over to first, back over to the dugout where he will reset himself and come back on the defensive side. The remainder of the third inning coming up here from Klein Scott Field. The Rebels leading the Kings, trying to hold on to a 2-run or to a 1-run advantage. My name is Adrian Holguin, and I welcome you back to Klein Scott Field for the bottom of the third. The Rebels find themselves on top of the Kings in terms of runs, leading 2 runs, 2-1. 1 run put up for the Kings in the bottom of the first, but the bottom of the second, a dominant defensive affair or defensive outing for the Newton Rebels. And then in the top of the second, the Rebels kind of doing their thing from the batter's box, putting up 2 runs. Themselves up 2 runs to 1. 2-0 count. This one called strike. Make it a 2-1 count. Back Drew Wardell takes in that pitch. Going to be a 3-1 count. Not only Drew Wardell once again over at first base, but today filling in behind home plate. And Bryson Harding starting the day on the mound for the Newton Rebels. Full out of success. Van Hanberg going to be next up out of Wichita, Kansas, big number 75. Didn't have much luck earlier on in his previous at-bats, but we're going to try and turn his day around here in Klein Scott Field. Bryson Harding looks back over at first, where Hewitt resides. I'm going to test him. Instead, going to fire it into Drew Wardell, who keeps it out of harm's way. Ball 1. 1-0 pitch coming up here in the bottom of the third. It comes in and pitch to the inside. Testing Hanberg early on in the sequence is Bryson Harding. 2-0 count. Bryson Harding, right-handed pitcher out of Southeast Arkansas Community College. 2-0 pitch comes in and to the outside and almost to the dirt. Good job. That's Drew Wardell keeping it out of harm's way. Once again, 3-0 count. One more ball. Let's put runners on first and second. No outs yet here in the bottom of the third here at Klein Scott Field. Bryson Harding sends that one down low and no swing from Hanberg. He's just going to take the free walk over to first.
Austin.
Not going to put up much resistance. Makes some sense. One runner now in scoring position for the Kings, and looks like there's going to be a quick timeout of play here. The infield going to meet back up on the mound after that quick walk that sent Van Hanberg over to first base, and now runners on first and second. I don't imagine kind of just making sure that number 19, Bryce Harding, the starting pitcher tonight for the Rebels, kind of just keeps his head in the game. Not bad. I mean, you got the timeouts, might as well use them. Drew Wardell kind of barking out some respectful orders, it looks like, as well. Got Connor Chaso in there. Shortstop throwing in for Jody Lopez. Connor Chaso, kind of the late addition actually to the roster heading into this year. Now found his footing as the season's gone on. It's that Winter, the leader in terms of 2024 batting average for the Diamond Kings. Got a base hit earlier on in the ball game. Going to try and pick up yet another one heading over against the pitches of Bryson Harding. Harding fires that one in there and called strike 1. No outs, bottom of the third. Are still on first and second. Reminder for the Kings. 1-0 pitch from Harding. Going to send in. Looks back at Chaso. That finally fires it in. It forces the swing from Winter. Going to be an 0-2 count. Once again, pretty prolific from the batter's box this season for the Kings. For Bryson Harding, maybe has him kind of on his heels here. He's trying to pick up the first strikeout at the bottom of the third. Of course, picking up Bryson Harding on the mound for the Newton Rebels, 1-2 count. Harding fires in the 1-2 pitch, and it heads down low. Count going to be knotted up at 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now Harding going to try and get the Mark Fox Wagon real to strike out, and he does just that. Forces the swing and gets the first out on the board.
Now batting number 12, Landon Haynes.
Landon Haynes now steps up. He had some luck earlier on in the ball game. The designated hitter tonight for the home Diamond Kings here in Klein Scott Field. 7:40 p.m. now here in Centennial Park. Sun going down, shadows being casted along the infield. One out, pitch one in, and ball up top. Bryson Harding on the mound, resets, and going to send in the 1-0 pitch. Runners on first and second. Reminder for the Kings. As the Rebels lead the Kings, 2 runs, 2-1, and that's going to be a fly ball. Going to be just outside the field of play. And the Newton Rebels bring that one down. Colby Gomez more specifically.
Next to that, number 3.
2 outs, bottom of the third. Good job of the Newton Rebels of kind of bouncing back after they found runners for the Kings on first and second. But still a lot of time to play. A lot of game to be played here in the bottom of the third as only 1 out remains, but anything could happen. Bryson Harding, 49, make it 50 pitches in to his evening, 1-0 counts. Boomsma looks back as Harding looks back at Chaso. And Drew Wardell can't quite bring in the pitch that heads into the dirt. Runner's going to advance to second and third. An unforced error here in the bottom of the third. And the Rebels cannot afford to have that come back to bite them in this close contest in Klein Scott Field. They're trying to pick up their 4th win of the season, 2nd win here in Klein Scott Field of the 2024 campaign. The 2-0 pitch comes in and down the middle to the outside portion of the strike zone. Gets over the right shoulder of number 11, Drew Wardell. Filling in from the first base spot. 2-1 count. Make it 3-1. That pitch went a little bit to the outside. 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Bryson Harding trying to put this inning out. Already in the bottom of the third. Top of the 4th coming up, and that's going to be a fly ball remaining in the infield. And who else but... Oh, okay. Well, Bryson Harding was set up there. Bryson Harding was set up to bring in that one. Bit of a miscommunication as Colby Gomez came over from first base and thought he would be able to bring that one down instead. But it costs the Rebels not only the out that could have put the bottom of the third away, but also 1 more run, which was put up on the board by the Kings, who now tied this game up 2 runs apiece in the bottom of the third from Klein Scott Field. Strike number 1, the new runner, or as a new batter, makes his way into the box. Smith, no swing. Ball goes outside, 1-1 count. Another pitch in from Bryson Harding. Going to lead the count to 2-1 after looking at that error occurring in the infield that costs the Rebels 1 run given up, and what could have been the ending out of the bottom of the third. Harding gets that one in there. Contact made out to right field. And the Rebels right there wrong as much as they can, as the quick out was pulled in by Jack Gardner from the outfield. Therefore, bringing it into the bottom of the third. The Kings tied up with the Rebels 2 runs apiece here at Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. The top of the 4th coming up here already from Centennial Park. Drew Wardell all the way over from the catching spot to the batter's box to start us off here in the top of the fourth. Tonight, visiting Rebels walk into their home field to take on the Diamond Kings, as the Diamond Kings without a home for the 2024 season. Therefore, playing this home matchup on the road. Kind of interesting as Drew Wardell fires that one into right field. It's going to be a double to start us off here in the top of the fourth.
Number 5, Marcus Pollard.
Drew Wardell makes his way over to second, and Marcus Pollard going to try and bring him all the way around and try to get another run on the board for the Rebels as the Kings lead 3-2. Bit of miscommunication in that last half inning. I apologize, but the Kings do lead 3-2 over the Newton Rebels after that infield error put up by the Rebels defense, as Colby Gomez thought he could pull it down, but just got a little bit ahead of himself. Quite kind of misjudged the fly ball and out of control pitch. Leads to Drew Wardell coming from second to third. Unforced errors for the Kings, with the Rebels capitalizing this time. Going to be a 1-1 count here. Marcus Pollard still in the batter's box for the Newton Rebels as Drew Wardell goes from second to third. Now resting over the third base spot. Another pitch and another out-of-control pitch. Drew Wardell going to get over to home and tie the game up 3 runs apiece here in the top of the fourth. All night long, the Rebels have been looking very hungry, swinging through the fences anytime they get the chance, and we're seeing the results. Game tied up. Drew Wardell brings in the 3rd run of the day for the Newton Rebels after 2 out-of-control pitches. Some miscommunication this time in the infield of the Diamond Kings. 2-1 pitch into the inside. Going to make it 3-2, or going to make it 3-1, I should say, here in the top of the fourth. No outs. Marcus Pollard looks to be poised to maybe walk over, get the brisk walk over to first. And called strike. Going to be a full count. He's going to have to work for it, it looks like. Number 49, Marcus Pollard, outfielder at Northern State College, Sherwood Park, Alabama, where he resides from. And indeed, Pollard going to walk over to first. No outs, top of the fourth.
Number 5, Colby Gomez.
And the Rebels looking very poised today, not letting their emotions get the better of them, as a new batter makes his way over. Colby Gomez playing at the first base spot today for the Newton Rebels. Marcus Pollard once again on first, with the Rebels tied up with the Kings, 3 runs apiece. This one in from Landon Haynes of the Diamond Kings. His 56th pitch, I should say. 58 pitches so far for the Rebels, also 56 for the Diamond Kings. Very kind of even display in terms of batting between these two teams. Drew Wardell already made his way over to home here in the top of the fourth. Marcus Pollard trying to do the same. Got tested over at first and barely made it back after Haynes tested him a little bit from the mound. Now Haynes into Gomez, and Gomez makes contact out to the outfield between second and third. Marcus Pollard trying to put up his second run of the day. Going to round the bases and going to head home. And he is going to be called safe, as the throw was not expected. It almost looked like from big number 99 of the Diamond Kings, Carson Wharton, the catcher tonight for said Diamond Kings. Looks like Connor Chaso now going to try and grow this lead even farther. The Rebels find themselves up 4-3 here in the top of the fourth. 2 runs already put up here in this half inning by the Newton Rebels. Now 1 runner on second in scoring position for the hometown squad. Connor Chaso gets that one out right over to third base. Kind of limps his way actually over to first.
Now batting number 2, Blake Cost.
And he gets called out over at first. He couldn't quite make it there in time. 1 out, top of the 4th. Once again, runner remaining on second for the Newton Rebels, who have put up 2 runs already in this half inning. Blake Cost now going to be next up for Connor Chaso. Got beat over to first and got caught for the first out of the top of the 4th. Pitch number 1 and ball 1. 1-0 count, no strikes. Number 12, Landon Haynes, still in the ball game. 60 pitches in. 61 fired in, and Cost contact made, foul ball. Little to no movement, going to be a 1-1 count. Top of the 4th, Rebels up 4-3. They've got their 4th win of the season before they play 7 of their remaining 11 games of the regular season here at home in Clarence Scott Field. 2-1 count. And Cost, foul ball. Straight back behind. Justin Hines looking back actually at the dugout for the Newton Rebels. Kind of barking out orders, man. Gotta do that sometimes. 3-2 count. And 3-2 pitch heads in, and Cost going to try and beat the throw over to first, and an error. Cost going to make his way over to second now, as the first baseman also falls over for the Newton Rebels, and Colby Gomez puts up another run for the Rebels himself, who now lead 5-3. Chris Clark now top of the batting rotation as Blake Cost makes his way over to second after the error over at first base for the Diamond Kings. Now he's in scoring position, obviously, for the Newton Rebels. Only 1 out, still top of the 4th. The Rebels on a bit of a run here. Already 3 runs put up in this half inning as they now lead 5-3 in the top of the 4th. Chris Clark swinging a miss. Strike 1. Blake Cost playing with house money proverbially over on second. After the infield error, sent what would have been an out at first to a double. Chris Clark showed bunt, pulls back in time, but still gets called for the strike, 0-2. Haynes now 67 pitches in as we stand here in the midway point of the top of the 4th. Chris Clark, no swing, and called ball. 1-2 count. Chris Clark, outfielder out of Campo, Louisiana. And they're going to try and get Cost out at second, but another error over at second. Going to lead Cost to get over to third base. And the Diamond Kings are shooting themselves in the foot, and Blake Cost taking advantage. Still a 1-2 count with Chris Clark, center fielder for the Rebels, in the box. Landon Haynes resets himself, fires that one in down low, and Clark gets caught for another swing in the third strike of the sequence, which puts 2 outs on the board now in the top of the 4th. But Blake Cost looks like it's been destined for home plate. Shouldn't have even gone on base in the first place. But off of that infield error by the Diamond King defense, he not only found himself going all the way over to second base, but then all the way over to third base after the failed out try by the infield of the Kings. Pitch in, and another contact made out to right field, and the Kings bring it down. 3 outs now, top of the 4th. The bottom of the 4th coming up here. Blake Cost got to be kind of kicking himself. Worked hard to get over to third, but couldn't quite make it home. But the Rebels leading the Kings 5-3. Bottom of the 4th coming up in this fast-paced affair in Clarence Scott Field. Solanke going to start us off here in the bottom of the fourth. The Rebels hold the 5-3 early lead here midway through this one in Klein Scott Field. Drew Wardell takes a spot behind home plate, filling in from the first baseman spot where we've been accustomed to seeing him over the past handful of games. Bryson Harding, first pitch in to the outside, going to be a 1-0 count. Bottom of the fourth, the Rebels just came off of the top of the fourth where they put in 3 runs against the defense of the Kings after the Kings have shot themselves in the foot repeatedly with a lot of errors in the infield. They, like the Rebels, kind of having a bit of a hard season so far as that one heads straight up in the air, and Wardell going to try and bring it down, and he cannot quite get it. The ball bounces right out of his mitt from the catching spot. Bryson Harding gets set off his 61st pitch of the evening here in Klein Scott Field. The Rebels also put up 2 runs in the top of the second, along with the 3 aforementioned in the top of the fourth. Bryson Harding, 1-1 pitch, comes in up top and going to be called ball. The top side of the strike zone, 2-1 count. Solanke swings and makes contact, foul to the left side. 2-2 count here in Klein Scott Field. Now 7:58, already almost to the bottom of the fourth. Solanke receives the Harding pitch down low, and he's going to be walked over to first after does a good job of mouth swinging. Carson Wharton going to be next up, playing the catch and roll today behind home plate for the Diamond Kings. Can't be too happy with himself. Once again, the Rebels put up 3 runs in the top of the fourth, but kind of clear that out of your mind now. 1 runner on first, and you got a chance to bring him home. We'll see what happens. Harding a swing. Going to be called a ball. 1-0 count. Bryson Harding starting on the mound tonight for the Newton Rebels. Kind of playing very methodically so far. Kind of tiptoeing his way around the strike zone. 1-0 pitch comes in, and Wharton makes contact. Double play opportunity for the Rebels. Fired over to first base, and I believe converted by the Rebel defense. Already 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth.
Next to that, number 9, Luke Stuckey.
Luke Stuckey going to be next up now, as the Rebels put up a beautiful defensive play over at second and first to get the double play on the board. No runners on base for the Diamond Kings, and Stuckey kind of back up against the wall here. 2 outs already. Bryson Harding having a tremendous day from the mound of ball 1. Also got to give credit to Drew Wardell filling in at the catching spot. Making a lot of good calls from beyond there, if I do say so myself. Next pitch in, called strike. Going to be a 1-1 count. Rebels leading 5-3. Here in the bottom of the fourth. Strike number 2. As the Stuckey swing ends in the foul to the right side. 1-2 count. Bottom of the fourth, 2 outs. Bryson Harding pitch number 71. Heads in and leads to the 2-2 count just to the outside of the strike zone. 1 more strike would be another Michael Wigan, local realtor. Mark Fox, local Wigan realtor strikeout. Next one in and up top. Drew Wardell almost thought it was going to be called a strike, it looked like, but instead called ball. Full count, 3-2. And the full count gets head over to Chris Clark over in center field. And Chris Clark brings it down from the top of the batting rotation to center field and making an impact either way. 3 outs, bottom of the fourth, top of the fifth, coming with effort from Klein Scott Field.
This time is our contest.
Jayhawk Collegiate League All-Stars. Shenyan Zheng going to step up here out of Taiwan. My name is Adrian Holguin, and the top of the fifth. About to be set up here in Klein Scott Field. Losing track of my innings so far. Goodness gracious, but Zheng, quick fly ball, going to be calling for the strike as it went out of play. 0-1 count now here at Klein Scott Field. The 0-1 pitch. Starting off the top of the fifth. Going to come inside, 1-1 count. And Haynes remains in the ball game on the mound. Almost falls over after delivering that one. 2-1 count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Once again, top of the fifth. More of our financial partners for the Newton Rebels. Shamrock Car Wash and Pouch Enterprises. Mark Fox, your local wagon realtor. Big brothers and big sisters of Harvey County. Court-appointed special advocate group. Manager being Leslie Gwynn. Union State Bank, Faith and Life Bookstore. Charleston Insurance and Best Pest Control. Some of our host families. Becky Day family, Carrie Boone and Chris White family. Heather and Michael Haskew family. Hope and Monty Graber family. Kelly and Matt Peoples family. Kim and Kevin Pouch family. Melissa and Dennis Wardell family. And Michelle and Brett Kaufman family. While I was over here spewing, Drew Wardell got called out on the strikeout here in the top of the fifth. 1 out already with runner being on first. Jack Garner now steps back up into the box. We saw him get that quick double earlier on in the ball game and make his way all the way over to home. Get one of the 5 runs on the board for the Newton Rebels, who lead 5-3. 0-1 pitch comes in. Down low. Going to be a 1 ball, 1 strike situation. And he's going to deliver the 1-1 pitch. Top of the fifth. Garner, contact made out between the shortstop and third baseman. And the runners advance to first and second here in Klein Scott Field in the top of the fifth. I went fifth into this one. Drew Wardell going to step up from the first baseman spot. Goodness gracious. Now, Shenyan Zheng did advance his way over to first, as we saw earlier on in the contest. No outs, top of the fifth. Going to reset the count once again. Drew Wardell up to bat. He makes contact after the foul. Bunt attempt. Strike 1. Drew Wardell steps back once again. No swing. Going to be called a ball. Going to bring it up to a 1-1 count. Haynes down to 81 total pitches. The Rebels not making it easy on him, putting him through some long half innings. Pitch number 82, fouled off by Drew Wardell. 1-2 count. Drew Wardell going to reset himself. Taking his time, umpire gives him a break. Steps back up, 1 runner in scoring position. Shenyan Zheng over at second. Haynes pitch and Wardell swing. Out to left field, going to be fouled off. Going to stay 1-2 the count. Now outs, top of the fifth. Shenyan Zheng on second. And Jack Gardner on first. Justin Hinesley over by third, head coach of the Newton Rebels. Pitch in, and Drew Wardell gets striked out at the first out of the top of the fifth. Now Marcus Pollard, big number 49. As we just heard, being subbed into the lineup here. 6th overall in the lineup tonight. You're going to get another crack at it. Had some success earlier on in the ball game. Scored at least one of the runs for the Newton Rebels. I'm losing track at this point. 3 runs were put up in the top of the fourth earlier on, and 2 in the top of the second, and another actual base hit for Marcus Pollard put up, but the Kings convert on the double play. 3 outs, top of the fifth. Going to bring us to the bottom of the fifth here at Klein Scott Field. Rebels leading 5-3, trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. Stay with us. Pitching change is the big story heading into the bottom of the fifth for the defense of the Newton Rebels. Dylan Droney coming in for Bryson Harding, who started the game. Big number 19 once again out of Norco, Louisiana. Harding started the game on the mound, putting up north of 70 total pitches to start off the ball game, but now Dylan Droney going to try and have similar results here. Already 2 strikes to start off the bottom of the fifth. Jackson Hewitt, top of the batting rotation, into the box, make it 1-2 to start off the bottom of the fifth. No outs, 1-2 pitch in, and a quick strikeout from Dylan Droney. First strikeout of the bottom of the fifth.
75, Dan Haber.
Quick Mark Fox local Wigan Realtor strikeout to start off this half of play. Van Hanberg going to step up. Droney, next pitch in, and another swing, another miss. Droney kind of getting pretty excited over there on the mound, I see. 1 pitch coming up. Sent in to the outside. Drew Wardell, number 11. Once again, filling in behind home plate at the catching spot. Been calling a pretty successful game from back there. 1-1 pitch in. And I believe we're going to be called a foul. Indeed, going to be a 1-2 count. Dylan Droney coming out firing. Only putting up 7 pitches so far, but already a strikeout and another 1-2 count. And 1-2 pitch coming up here against Van Hanberg. 1-2 pitch in, and another swing and a miss, and 2 straight Mark Fox local Wigan Realty strikeouts. 2 outs, bottom of the fifth.
17, Austin Winter.
Rebels up 5-3. And as soon as one batter leaves, one more batter comes in. Winter, heading into this ball game, led the Diamond Kings in batting average on the season. Not much success here tonight, though. Dylan Droney straight down the middle for a strike. 0-1 pitch coming up here. 2 outs, bottom of the fifth. And another swing, another miss. Dylan Droney on fire right now. 0-2 count. Rebels up 5-3. Then the 0-2 pitch comes in just to the outside. 1-2 is the count. Winter once again up to bat. Right now for the Diamond Kings. And contact from Winter just over the head of the shortstop for the Newton Rebels. Going to lead to the base hit for Winter. Landon Haynes now going to step up here. And Haynes, the starting pitcher tonight for the Diamond Kings, trying to get some stuff going on the other end. 2 outs, runner on first, Winter out there. And Dylan Droney, with all the confidence in the world over on the mound. Ball 1. 1-0 count. Rebels once again counted as the visiting team here tonight in Klein Scott-Foot, interestingly enough. As the Kings kind of homeless, for lack of a better term here, don't have a home field for themselves in 2024. 1-1 count. 1-1 pitch comes in, and Winter really wanted to steal his way over from first to second. Something for Droney and company to keep an eye on. 2-1 count. Ooh. Droney another pitch in. 3-1 count. Once again, a winner. Really thinking about stealing his way over to second. Wyatt Druid out there. Looks like at first base. Playing a little out of position. And that one going to walk. Haynes over to first. Runner's going to be on first and second here in the bottom of the fifth. Still 2 outs though. So the Rebels have a good chance here of getting themselves out of the bottom of the fifth. Just need one more Mark Fox local Wigan Realtor strikeout from Dylan Droney. Taking in some more of our in-kind supporters this season for the Newton Rebels, Guerrilla Marketing Incorporated, Back Alley Pizza, BuyLocalPlus.com Magazine, Newton Recreational Commission, YMCA Newton Branch, and the Greater Wichita YMCA, and Summer Days Festival. 0-1 count for Dylan Droney. Looks back over at second. Fires the 0-1 pitch, and contact out to left field, or center field, and Chris Clark brings it down. 3 outs already, bottom of the 5th. The Rebels hold on indeed and keep the Kings scoreless in that half inning. Top of the 6th coming up here in Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. The Rebels trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. Kobe Gomez is going to start us off here in the top of the 6th. Earlier on from the first baseman spot, we saw kind of an infield error that allowed 1 run to be put up by the Kings. The 3rd run, if I remember correctly, not an analytics major, but nevertheless, strike number 1, 0-1 count. 86 total pitches put up so far by number 12, Haynes, number 12. Lost track of my thoughts right there, but 0-2 count for Gomez. Once again, coming over from the first baseman spot, where we've been seeing him so far today, and a foul. Going to keep the count at 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. Once again, to start off the top of the 6th, with the Rebels leading 5-3. My name being Adrian Holguin. That ball goes straight into the ground. Going to be called for the ball once again. 1-2 count. 1-2 pitch, and Gomez, hard swing and a hard miss. 3 strikes, and he is indeed out. At top of the 6th, once again, 1 out. Connor Chaso. Going to step up now. Kind of playing in relief of Jordy Lopez, getting a lot of time since he's kind of been absent over the past few games. No swing, ball inside from Haynes, who is a designated hitter tonight. 1-0 count, 1 out. And a big hit that time for the Rebels, and they're going to be called out after putting up that fly ball.
Number 2, Blake Haas.
Not something that the Rebels wanted to see. Already 2 outs, top of the 6th, but Blake Haas can now step up here. We just saw Connor Chaso once again get called out after putting up that fly ball. Went straight over to first, and Blake Haas going to follow the proverbial lead or get called out for the 3rd time. Is the Newton Rebels in the top of the 6th. Bottom of the 6th coming up here. That top of the 6th was over as soon as I looked up from the production computer here in the press box here in Klein Scott Field. But stay with us. Bottom of the 6th coming up as the Rebels try to hold on to this 2-run lead and bring home their 4th win of the season. We're 6.5 innings, or at least 5.5 innings through this 9-inning affair between the Diamond Kings and the Newton Rebels. Dylan Droney got subbed in for Bryson Harding prior to this point in the 5th inning. And we saw a lot of success to start off the ball game for the Newton Rebels on the mound. He's trying to continue that now as another pitch gets fired in and called a strike. To the bottom of the 6th, the Rebels holding a 5-3 lead. 5-3 run advantage over the Diamond Kings. Try to pick up their second win at home here in Klein Scott Field of the season. Jack Gardner out at right field. Chris Clark out in center field. And that one swung at and straight over to third base. And the Rebels are going to try to pick him up at first. Just a step too slow. Great hustle that time by Smith.
Number 1, Austin Solanke.
Austin Solanke now going to be up. Dylan Droney, right-handed pitcher out of Lafayette, Louisiana. Sophomore over at Southeastern Arkansas Community College. Going to fire in his roughly 25th pitch of the evening. That one called ball. 1-0 count. 1 ball, no strikes. That one to the outside. Called ball. 2-0 is the count. No outs here in the bottom of the 6th. The Kings trying to get back on top in this one over the Newton Rebels. They almost got the runner out at first, testing him a little bit. Smith the one over at first. Dylan Droney, 2-0 pitch. And a fly ball out to left field. And the Rebels get underneath it and put up the first out of the bottom 6th.
Now batting number 44, Carlos Orega.
Carlos Orega going to be next up for the Diamond Kings. Drew Wardell coming over from the first baseman spot to the catching spot today. In relief from the likes of Ryan Ruggiero. And Shadian Zhang, the 2024 JL Collegiate League All-Star. Pitch comes inside and contact made that time on
Number 9,
Orega, who walks his way over to first. Now Luke Stuckey going to be next up. Runners on first and second here in the bottom of the 6th, and 1 out. The Kings trying to get some runs on the board here, but we've seen them in this position a couple of times with runners on first and second. But the Rebels, more often than not tonight, and take care of business. Dylan Droney and forces the first swing, strike 1. Only 1 out, though, so he's got some work to do, some catching up to do. 0-1 pitch. Going to be coming up here. Droney peeks back over at second. Fires in the pitch and forces another swing. And foul ball, strike number 2. Going to now be an 0-2 count. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Droney looks back over at second. Fires in the pitch. No swing, but a strikeout. Mark Fox, Liberal Wygan, a realtor strikeout in Klein Scott Field.
now number 2, Gunnar Hewitt.
Now 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. The Kings once again find themselves with runners on first and second, but can Dylan Droney do what he did the last inning and get a handful of unanswered outs, strikeouts for the Rebels? Already got 1 and another 0-1 count. Two outs, 0-1 pitch to Cherry, no swing. Ball to the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 pitch, about to be fired in. It is sent in down low and to the inside. 2-1. Jonay going to take his time on this one. 2-1 pitch about to be coming up here in the bottom of the 6th. Only an hour and 26 minutes into this one in Klein Scott Field, but non-stop action. And we're already almost finished up with this one. Already six and a half, maybe 5.5 innings into it. I'm not a math major. Bear with me. 2-2 count. 2 out the bottom of the 6th. Cherry, one of the substitutions for the Kings tonight. No swing. Pitch goes to the outside. Full count now. 1 strike would bring it into the bottom of the 6th. 1 ball would load up the bases. And then looks back at second. Fires it in and going to be just to the outside. He tried to force the swing from Cherry, but instead he walks him over to first. Now bases loaded for the Kings here in the bottom of the 6th. Van Hanberg now up to bat out of Wichita, Kansas. Bishop Carroll Catholic High School alum. Home of the Golden Eagles, fun fact. Had a on Central Ave, west side. Swing and a miss, strike 1. On 1 pitch coming from Drone, 2 outs, bases loaded, and Hanberg gets that one past Drone, but he gets called out at first. And another big-time response on the defensive side from Drone and company. The Rebels bring it into the bottom of the 6th and hold on to the 5-3 run advantage here in Klein Scott Field, trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. We'll see if they can get it done here, top of the 7th coming up. Welcome back to Klein Scott Field. Chris Clark, big number 12, center fielder for the Rebels, going to start us off from the batter's box. Big thanks to some more of our meal makers of the season for the Newton Rebels. Pathway Care Women's Care Group and Becky Day, First Baptist Church, Newton First United Methodist Church. The Table, Hope Graber, Plum on the Go, Kim Pauch, and American Legion Auxiliary. Strike 1, 0-1 count. 0-1 count, no outs. Top of the 7th, Chris Clark hasn't found much success, and that's going to be a fly ball out to the outfield, and no error that time for the Kings on the defensive side. Out 1. Out 1 of the top of the 7th. The Rebels doing a good job of holding on to this 2-run lead, but can't get too complacent. Anything can happen if they don't put up some runs themselves to grow this lead. Then they could see some runs come up the other way. Ethan McCauley. Next up, 1 out, top of the 7th. That'll be a ball number 1. It's an out of control pitch. Heads to the backside. McCauley. Swing And a foul out to the right side. It'll be a 1-1 count. Haynes still in the ball game. 97 pitches in. McCalley looks him down. Fires it in. And contact was made by McCalley. My apologies. But brought down in the outfield. It's going to be out number 2 of the top of the 7th. Third up in the batting rotation, Shenyan Zhang, the 2024 JL Collegiate League All-Star selection out of Taiwan. 2 outs, top of the 7th. We saw Zhang get on base multiple times so far tonight. Ball 1, down to the bottom. 1-0 counts. Haynes now up to 98 total pitches from the mound for the Diamond Kings. Pitch number 99 in, and a swing from Zhang down low. 1-1 count. Rebels kind of coming cold here. This would be their 3rd straight inning. They've been held scoreless. Roughly, and then Zhang. Fly ball out to center field, and the Kings bring it down. And indeed, that is the 3rd out real quick at the top of the 7th. Bottom of the 7th coming up here. The Rebels kind of falling a little bit cold here. Indeed, their 3rd inning, where they have been held scoreless by the Diamond Kings defensive side. But can they continue to do what they've been doing and put up the 4th straight runless inning for the Diamond Kings? We'll see when we come back in Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. Austin Winter, one of the big names to watch out for tonight for the Diamond Kings. Going to be back up to bat to take on Dylan Droney, who's been red hot since subbing in roughly 2 innings ago. Hasn't allowed a single run yet. He's already 35 pitches in. Ball 1, 1-0 count, and now it's going to be 1-1. As that ball went up and then down straight to the strike zone. Ball 1 strike in the bottom of the 7th. Next one comes in. It's going to be a 1-2 count. No outs quite yet. Winter once again up to bat for the Diamond Kings. Up to the visiting Diamond Kings, but once again they're being counted as the home team this evening. Swing and a miss. And going to be a strikeout put up by Dylan Droney. Mark Fox, Lobo Wagon, Wiltshire strikeout. Now Landon Haynes going to be next up. The pitcher already 100 pitches in. Like I said, the arm strike to put this one over the far wall. We'll have to see though. Oh, it's not even going to be tested. Dylan Droney fires it straight into his back. Going to be walked over to first. Not even going to be tested. As like just said, only 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Now Brady Boomsma going to step up to the plate. Brady Boomsma, a batting average of .206 on the season. Dylan Droney once again red hot. subbing in roughly 2 innings ago. 39 pitches in, no runs allowed. And that one is a ball going straight up in the air, and another error put up behind the first base spot. That time, Wyatt Druward looks to be subbing in, playing a little bit out of position. Usually he's on the pitching mound, interestingly enough. But nevertheless, 0-1 count it's going to be. Luckily, that's going to be counted as a foul and not a potential base hit. One runner on first. Drew Wardell keeps that out of harm's way. Ball number 1. Drew Wardell playing behind home plate at the catching spot. Drone, another pitch in and a ball to the inside and up high. Ball number 2, 2-1 count. 1 out. The Rebels leading 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Trying to prevent the Kings from coming back in this one. That's going to be strike number 2, 2-2 count. One more strike, put up the second out of the bottom of the 7th. Wyatt Druward testing him over at first. Just barely safe is Haynes, who got walked over to first earlier on in this half inning. Wyatt Druward. Next pitch comes in, ball down low, going to be a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Deciding pitch going to be coming up here. 7 hits so far today for the Newton Rebels. Only 6 for the Kings. Wyatt Druward try to get Haynes out at first. It's a step too slow on the throw. Full count pitch. Now being set up and fired in, and the umpire makes his call. And it's going to be a strikeout. Another Mark Fox local Wyken Realtor strikeout.
Now batting number 26, Carson Smith.
2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Rebels trying to hold on for their 4th win of the season. Next up the bat now going to be Smith for the Diamond Kings. 6th in the rotation. Drone in and straight back to Chris Clark over in center field. Runner's not going to be out first and second. Austin Solanke going to be next up. Taking his place over in the box. 2 outs at bottom of the 7th. Once again, runners on first and second for the Diamond Kings, but they've been put in this position earlier on in the game. Not much success has came. They're going to try to kind of turn that thing around. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Going to be a foul ball. Strike number 1. Drone now sets up for the 0-1 count here in Klein Scott Field. One pitch in, ball to the inside, 1-1 count. 48 pitches now for Drone in relief for number 19, Bryson Harding. One pitch in and a hard contact out to left field. Chris Clark can't quite get underneath it. Runners rounding the bases. One heads home and another one does the same. And indeed, this ball game tied up. 5 runs apiece at Klein Scott Field, bottom of the 7th.
Now at bat number 44, Carlos Herrera.
Big time play by Solanke, the double RBI, sending 2 runners home. And that snaps now a streak of 3 straight innings where the Kings are held scoreless, but now they have loads of momentum here in the bottom of the 7th, but already 2 outs put up the defense of the Rebels earlier on. And more contact made at the 3rd, and we fouled off. One strike in the sequence, 2 outs. Dylan Droney. Pitch number 51 to the inside. Going to now be a 2-1 count. 2 balls and 1 strike. Droney looks back over at second. Fires it in and contact, foul out to the left side. Arriaga. The substitutions tonight for the Diamond Kings. Fired that one over there. 2-2 count. Droney 2 strikes away from putting the bottom of the 7th to rest and sending us into the 8th inning. And indeed, a swing and a miss, but going to have one more crack at it. Now 2-2 count. Got off up here. No swing, ball up top. 3-2 count, full count. The Kings just put up a miraculous 2 runs on one single swing. Tied the game up 5 runs apiece here at Clydesdale Field. That's a walk over to first.
Now that number 9, Luke Stuckey.
And Luke Stuckey steps up. Nice in the batting lineup. And now a meeting over at the mound. Dylan Droney started off hot, but now giving up 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. Might lead to the end of his day. It looks like it will. New pitcher going to set up and warm up for the Newton Rebels. We'll see what happens when we come back. The Rebels try to put an end to the bottom of the 7th here in Clydesdale Field. Pitching change made for the Newton Rebels. 0-1 count here in the bottom of the 7th. 2 runs put up here earlier on in this half inning by the Kings, tying this ball game up 5 runs apiece. That's going to be called a ball just to the outside. The pitcher subbing in is Joseph Treadmeyer, left-handed pitcher at Southwestern College, Leander, Texas, where he originally resides from. Another pitch in from him. From the mound, out of control. We're just going to advance to second and third. 2-1 count. Two-one count. 2 outs still, bottom of the 7th. Treadmeyer just has to put up 2 strikes to bring an end to this inning and send us into the 8th inning, where the Rebels going to have to kind of make up some ground and regain the lead. But can't allow any more runs here as Treadmeyer resumes his time on the mound. That one straight down low. We have 3-1 count. Treadmeyer picks number 5 in and forces the swing. Going to be a 3-2 count, full count. Stuckey once again remaining in the batter's box after Dylan Droney got subbed out. And contact out to right field. The Rebels bring it down and bring it into the bottom of the 7th. The top of the 8th now coming up here. The Rebels going to have a chance to retake the lead. But they got to make the ground to make up once again here at Klein Scott Field, trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th for the Kings. We'll see what the Rebels do to respond.
This crowd is awesome. Next.
Jack Gardner, we saw him grow the Rebels lead earlier on in the game, get this big double swing out to the middle between right field and center field. He's going to try and do that once again and try. Well, he makes contact at the right field right there, takes the words right out of my mouth, and indeed it's going to be a double for Jack Gardner. At least he rounds second, and he's going to stay away from third for now, but Marcus Pollard next up. Or going to be Drew Wardell.
Drew Wardell.
Drew Wardell going to step up, and Jack Gardner, once again, just like earlier on in the game, gets a quick double to start off the top of the 8th here at Klein Scott Field. Five runs. This game is tied up between the Diamond Kings and the Newton Rebels. The Newton Rebels trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. It would only be their 2nd win here in Klein Scott Field. Drew Wardell, the catcher for tonight for the Newton Rebels. No swing. It's going to be ball number 1. New pitcher also in now for the Diamond Kings, number 19, Colton Hurt. Hurt pitch number 7 in, down low. Going to be a 2-0 count. Once again, Drew Wardell up to bat after Jack Gardner hammered a double over into right field. Just to the left side of the foul line. Beautiful precision for the right fielder himself. And Wardell pops up the fly ball within the infield, and that's out number 1 of the top of the 8th.
Now number 49, Marcus Pollard.
Now Marcus Pollard up after Drew Wardell to bat with 1 out in the top of the 8th. Jack Gardner out of Hudson Community College. Over at second, Marcus Pollard going to try and bring him home. Pollard got some runs in himself. Been no stranger to the bases this evening. Pitch hit from Hurt and an out-of-control pitch, just like we saw earlier on. Jack Gardner gets a free trip over from second to third taking advantage once again. Just like we saw earlier on, once again, 1 out. Top of the 8th, Jack Gardner on 3rd. From 2nd, Marcus Pollard facing a 1-0 count. Hurt fires it in. Ball to the top. Going to be a 2-0 count now, faced by number 49, Marcus Pollard. 1 out. Top of the 8th, Jack Gardner in prime position to put another run on the board and put the Rebels back on top. Would be a 6-5 lead. Marcus Pollard can get the single RBI up on the board, now facing a 3-0 count. Pollard swings at it. Going to be a foul ball to the right side. Strike number 1. 3-1 count. Jack Gardner once again on 3rd after delivering a beautiful double hit out to right field earlier on in this half inning. Pollard, big swing, and you're going to be facing a full count with once again 1 out, top of the 8th. Probably kicking himself, just swinging at the, not this past pitch, but the pitch before that would have been outside, would have given him a free chip over to first. Full count pitch to the outside, and Marcus Pollard, luckily for him, going to go over to first anyways. Runners now on 1st and 3rd for the Newton Rebels as they try to pick up their 4th win of the season. Colby Gomez. They're going to try and do what we just saw Marcus Pollard do, but this time bring Jack Gardner home from 3rd. Colby Gomez out of Newton, Kansas. Attended Pratt Community College this past year, I should say. Top of the 8th. 1 out. Colby Gomez showed bunt. Doesn't pull the trigger. Gets called for the strike. Still only 1 out. Top of the 8th. Game tied up 5 runs apiece between the Newton Rebels and 316 Diamond Kings. Pitch in and a foul. Marcus Pollard tried to steal his way to 2nd. Would have put 2 runners in scoring position. But Gomez thinks otherwise inadvertently. 0-2 count, 1 out. The top of the 8th. Hurt sets up on the mound. Fires it in down low. It'll be ball number 1. Gomez keeps himself alive. 1-2 count now here in Klein Scott Field. The Rebels trying to get back on top. Jack Gardner at 3rd. Gomez out of control pitch, and Gardner going to head over to home, and also big number 49 Marcus Pollard gets over to 3rd. The Rebels up 6-5. And with that also, Marcus Pollard gets home as well, making a 7-5 lead for the Newton Rebels. I look down and inside Marcus Pollard sliding his way over to home. It's a big old party up here in the press box. Marcus Pollard follows suit. Felt a little left out, I guess. And the Rebels up 7-5. No runners on base now. Colby Gomez gets striked out on that one on the top of the 8th.
16, Wyatt Dreward.
Wyatt Dreward going to be next up now for the Newton Rebels. Top of the 8th, 2 outs. Both Marcus Pollard and Jack Gardner gets made their way home. There's a sequence of unforced errors for the Diamond Kings or by the Diamond Kings, I should say. Her pitch in, called strike. Connor Chaso. In facing the 0-1 count, with his team leading the Kings 7-5. And Chaso foul to the left side. Going to be 0-2. Two outs, no swing. Ball number 1, going to be a 1-2 count now. Connor Chaso. And the Rebels up 7-5 here in the top of the 8th, trying to pick up the 4th win of their 2024 campaign. Chaso now facing a 2-2 count. One more strike will put it into the top of the 8th. Chaso swing over to the shortstop, going to try and race away over to first. And going to be just barely out at first. The Diamond Kings bring it into the top of the 8th. The bottom of the 8th now coming up. Here in Clyde Scott Field, the Rebels up 7-5. Going to try and hold on to it on the defensive side. We'll see what happens at Clyde Scott Field when we come back for some more Newton Rebel action. Welcome to the bottom of the 8th, where the Rebels try to snap a now 7-game losing streak here at home against the Diamond Kings. These two teams going to meet up 24 hours from now once again here in Clyde Scott Field. Earlier on in the season, these two teams played in back-to-back games, both of which resulted in the Diamond Kings win over the Newton Rebels. Strike number 1. Wyatt Druid, number 16, getting subbed in onto the mound. Strike number 2. Hewitt, top of the bat in rotation. No swing and a ball to the bottom. Wyatt Druid out of Tabor College, Danville, Kansas. 1-2 count. That one goes outside. Going to call for another ball. 2-2. Rebels up 7-5. After Marcus Pollard and Jack Gardner put up 2 big-time runs off some errors by the Kings. 7-5 is their lead again. Full count now. Bottom of the 8th, Wyatt Druid getting subbed in. Deciding pitch in and to the inside. Going to be a walk over to first.
Next to that, number 75, Dan Haber.
Hanberg now out of Wichita, Kansas, number 75. Going to step up to the plate. 13 pitches now for Wyatt Druid, since he got subbed in previously. And Hanberger batting average of 171 on the season, entering today, 0-1 count. Oh, 1 pitch in, called ball down low. 1-1 count. Next one in, going to be a ball down low. Van Hanberg, no swing. Going to be a 2-1 count. And that one fired over to second base. Shenyan Zhang actually filling in over at the second base spot. Normally he's behind home plate. Going to be the first out of the bottom of the 8th.
Number 17, Austin.
Now Austin Winter third up in the batting rotation tonight. Had a handful of opportunities earlier on. One runner going to be at first still. Saw Van Hanberg make his way over there. But now Winter hasn't really made a big impact so far tonight, but one of the more consistent hitters for the Kings. Was saying it all night. 7-5 lead for the Rebels here at the bottom of the 8th. 1 out in Klein Scott Field. Wyatt Druid up on the mound, and Winter makes contact, and then Zhang converts on the double play, brings it in to the bottom of the 8th. Top of the 9th coming up here. The Rebels trying to finish up this win here in Klein Scott Field. Could be a win over the Diamond Kings. We'll see if they can finish up here when we come back. It's a matter of seconds in the top of the 9th.
Make some noise for your Rebels.
Colton Hurt going to remain on the mound for the Diamond Kings entering the 9th inning. The Rebels hold the 7-5 run advantage with Blake Koss stepping up to the plate now. Blake Koss had some success earlier on at a Pratt Community College. Some success earlier on today. Ball number 1 from Hurt, who now has thrown total 21 pitches so far. It's going to top of the 9th. The Rebels try to snap a losing streak that's been going on for 7 games now. 2-0 is the count. And now make it 3-0. Top of the 9th. Rebels leading 7-5. Koss showed a bunt. Going to get called for the strike instead. 3-1. Chris Clark going to be next up. He's warming up to the side currently with Koss. Getting, get called for the strike. He thought he was going to be walking over to first. Instead, it's going to be a full count, 3-2. Hurt winds up, fires it in, and now Koss is going to head over to first.
Now batting number 12, Chris Clark.
Chris Clark, center fielder first in the batting rotation tonight for the Rebels. But have another crack at it. He's having a bit of a frustrating night so far, not having a lot of success on the batter's box, but he's going to try and turn that around here late in the contest. Justin Hinsley, head coach for the Rebels, kind of giving them a little bit of some hand signals over there at third base. Wish I was kind of clued in on what those were, but can't have it all. And Koss trying to steal his way over to second, and he is going to be safe. Koss from first to second base. Now in scoring position for the Rebels. Hurt going to be keeping an eye over at Koss now, who's at second. Chris Clark. So at the bat, 1-0 count here in the top of the 9th. No outs. Clark, no swing. Going to be a 2-0 count. Pitch coming up from Hurt here in the top of the 9th. The Rebels trying to pick up their 4th win of the season. Have a 7-game losing streak up 7-5 currently. And Clark, big swing down low, 2-1 count. Thanks to more of our financial partners. Miller Insurance Agency Incorporated, Best Pest Control, Charleston Insurance, Faith and Life Bookstore, Union State Bank, Court-appointed Special Advocate Group, Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Harvey County, and Blake Koss is going to be safe over at second. It got tested by the infield of the Kings, 3-1 count. Mark Fox, local wagon realtor, Shamrock Car Wash and Pouch Enterprises, and many more. 3-1 pitch in, and Clark foul ball, 3-2. So let's look at some more of a host families as well while we're at it. Becky Day family, Carrie Boot and Chris White family, Heather and Michael Haskew family. Hurt looks back at second. Now back over at Clark in the box. And Clark swings and he misses. Going to be out number 1, top of the 9th.
Now batting number 30, Ethan McCallie.
Some other host families, Hope and Monty Graber family, Kelly and Matt Peoples family, Kim and Kevin Pouch family, Melissa and Dennis Wardell family, and Michelle and Brent Kaufman family as well. 1 out, top of the 9th. Rebels up 7-5. Ethan McCauley, no swing. Called ball number 1. Blake Koss got his way all the way over from first to second off the steal. Earlier on, 1-0 count. And now contact straight over to Hurt over from the mound. And then he finishes the job. McCauley out at first. Shenyan Zhang now going to be next up here. Blake Koss did advance from second to third. Now Zhang, we've seen him kind of get walked a handful of times these last couple of trips to the plate. We'll see if that continues. First, it's going to be a little bit of a meeting of the minds over at the pitching mound right in the middle. Austin Winter, so subbing in for Warden, who started out the game at the catching spot, but number 17 Austin Winter, subbing in for him. Two outs, top of the ninth. Blake Koss on third. Zhang no swing. Going to be a 1-0 count. Hurt now up to 34 total pitches as he tries to bring that number 2 a close for good here tonight. Zhang swing and a miss. Strike one. 1-1 count, top of the ninth, 2 outs. 1-1 pitch in and out of control. For a second, it looked like it was going to be Blake Koss, about the same, but he's going to be staying over at third. 2-1 count. Hurt brings in the 2-1 pitch, forces the Zhang swing. 2-2 is going to be the count. Umpire now going to have a word with him. I'm not sure what's going on there. Interestingly enough. 2-2 count, Zhang. Once again, up to bat for pitch of the last time of the night for the Rebels, who lead 7-5 in the top of the ninth. 2 outs now, 2-2 count. Hurts 2-2 pitch in, no swing. Going to be a ball down low. 3-2 count now. Full count. Deciding pitch. Going to be fired in. Just a matter of seconds. We'll see if Zay can stay alive for the Newton Rebels. We're trying to pick up their win into the winning column. Winners column in 2024. And contact made and an error as Zhang heads over to first and also sends Blake Koss home. The Rebels now lead 8-5, top of the ninth. Jack Gardner now next up. Who would have guessed it? Possibly the MVP of the ball game for the Rebels here tonight. Shenyan Zhang over at first. In case you missed it, sent Blake Koss over to home plate, growing the Rebels' lead up to 8-5 here in the top of the ninth. First one in, ball one. And a 1-0 swing. Jack Gardner, 1-1. So what it's going to lead to, 2 outs, still top of the ninth, 2 strikes away from the bottom of the ninth, commencing with the Kings going to be desperate to get some runs on the board and try to avoid another loss for them in 2024. Zhang gets tested over at first to no avail. Jack Gardner going to get tested himself over at the plate, and he swings and he misses. 1-2 count. Jack Gardner put up a handful of runs so far tonight for the Newton Rebels. Gets that one out to third and then over to left field. Runner's going to stay at first and second.
Next to that, number 11, Drew Wardell.
Now Drew Wardell going to be stepping up here. Get the start behind home plate. Relief for Shenyan Zhang and also Ryan Rogero. Both of which kind of dealing with some nagging injuries here at this stage of the season. Done a pretty dang good job. 2 runs in the bottom of the third, 1 in the bottom of the first. And then 2 in the bottom of the 7th. From behind no plate once again. Runners on first and second. Pitch number 1 in, inside. No swing from Wardell. 1-0 count. Two hours and 16 minutes into this one. Swing from Drew Wardell down low. 1-1 count here in Klein Scott Field, Centennial Park. Hopefully everybody had a safe 4th of July holiday. 1-1 count. 2 outs. Next one in and down low. Had a controlled pitch, but luckily not going to come back to haunt the Diamond Kings. 2-1 count. Hurt now at the 46 pitches from the mound. 2-2 count. Umpire just made this correction. Hurt gonna fire in the 2-2 pitch. Forces the swing and a foul. Two going to remain the count. 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Two pitch fired into the outside. Can be a full count. 3-2. The Diamond Kings having a hard time getting out of this top of the 9th here. Kind of just trying to stop the bleeding. Now full count, pitch in, and a foul. Count going to stay full at 3-2. Marcus Pollard on deck currently. Next up to bat for the Rebels. Next pitch in and contact made. Drew Wardell going to be walked over to first. Bases loaded.
Now batting number 49, Marcus Pollard.
Now for the Rebels is Marcus Pollard. Takes his place up at the plate. Bases loaded right behind Hurt. He gets his backs up against the wall. Marcus Pollard going to try and do his thing and take these runners home. Top of the 9th, 2 outs, out of control pitch. 1 runner heading home. That's Shenyun Zheng. And 2 others stopping at second and third. Rebels up 9-5. Pollard going to be facing a 1-0 pitch coming up here from Hurt, who's now at pitch number 53. Comes in, Pollard contacts between center and right field, and he gets over to first, and 2 more runners head home. A quick double RBI for Marcus Pollard, and the Rebels lead 11-5.
Colby Gomez.
Colby Gomez is going to be next up now. 4 runs put in by the Rebels here in the top of the 9th. They now lead 11-5 with all the momentum on their side. We still have 1 more half inning to go where the Kings will try to get back on top. They're really digging a hole for themselves. Colby Gomez. That's a fly ball out to the right side. And going to be out of play, if I'm not mistaken. Going to be an 0-1 count. 2 outs in the top of the 9th still. Marcus Pollard just hammered in a double RBI. Rebels up 11-5. Rebels currently on a 7-game losing streak. They look poised to snap that tonight here in Klein Scott Field. Next one in out of control, and Marcus Pollard takes advantage from first to second. Ball one on that one. 1-1 count. Hurt and company for the Kingsland, trying to stop the bleeding here, but having a hard time. Gomez, no swing. Down low. Hurt's pitch went into the dirt, and Pollard was not paying attention. Turkis didn't bring in the pass. And there's going to be a meeting of the minds over at the plate. They're not over at the plate, over at the mound. Getting my terms mixed up, I apologize. 2-1 counts. Just making sure that Hurts kind of has his head in the game. So once again, 2-1 count. Colby Gomez up to bat. The Rebels holding all the cards here in the top of the ninth. 4 runs put in this half inning, 2 of which off of the bat of Marcus Pollard, who's currently at second base. Colby Gomez going to receive the 2-1 pitch. Swings and a foul. 2-2 count. Hurt keeping an eye over at second where Marcus Pollard currently resides. Fires in the pitch. Gomez gets it out into the infield on the fly ball. And with that, the top of the ninth comes to a close. Bottom of the ninth now coming up here, with the Rebels leading 11-5 and poised to grow their win total of 2024 here in Klein Scott Field. Stay with us. We'll have the deciding factor, the deciding half inning coming up your way. Bottom of the ninth, the Rebels up 11-5. Here in the bottom of the ninth to start us off here, Wyatt Druid staying on the mound, pitching for the Newton Rebels. And the Kings dig themselves a bit of a hole in the top of the ninth, allowing 4 runs to head home for the Rebels. 2 off of a double RBI from Marcus Pollard. Wyatt Druid fires in the first one inside. And going to be the first ball, 1-0 count. Again, bottom of the ninth, the Rebels trying to snap a 7-game losing streak here in Klein Scott Field. 1-0 pitch in, and a swing, and they're going to be an out over at first. Beautiful play. That time of Shenya Zeng, usually behind home plate at the catching spot, but it's not making an impact out of the spot in the infield. 1 out, bottom of the ninth. Mason Cherry, substitution tonight for the Kings. 1 out, bottom of the ninth. The Rebels trying to put him away. Wyatt Druid, pitch in, called a ball up top. 1-0 count. Druid in, Fires out with all his strength, all the strength he can muster. Out of that right arm 2-0 count. 2-0 pitch in and a swing, 2-1. 2-1 pitch coming up. Cherry at bat. Cherry no swing, but called strike, 2-2. George going to try and do it again. 2-2 pitch outside. Drew Wardell keeps it out of harm's way. Full count, 3-2. 1 out, bottom of the ninth. The Rebels up 6 runs over the Diamond Kings. And the next one is going to be called a strike inside from Wyatt Druid. 2 outs now, bottom of the ninth. The Rebels in prime position. Carson Smith are going to be next up. It's all on him to keep this game alive for the Diamond Kings. Wyatt Druid, 25 pitches in, 26 pitch coming up. Right, we'll be back here in just 24 hours at Klein Scott Field. See these two teams meet up once again at Centennial Park. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Pitch in, down low. Ball. 1-1. 1-1 pitch. Heads inside. Called ball, 2-1. And the next one, swing and a contact made out between center and left field. Runner going to stay at first. Wyatt Druid still in the ball game. Still in the ball game, I should say. Slinky going to be up next to bat. And Ian Deed Smith keeps this game alive for the Diamond Kings. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. We're going to reset the count. And Druid in. Strike 1. 2.5 minutes into this one, the sun has completely gone down here in Centennial Park. Contact made out to right field. Jack Gardner going to try to get underneath it. Just a step too slow. Called strike. 0-2 is the count. 2 outs, bottom of the ninth. Rebels up 6 runs, 11-5 to be exact. Wyatt Druid receives the call from Drew Wardell behind the plate, fires it in, and a swing and a foul. Going to stay 0-2. Druid now 32 pitches in. Going to try and end it on pitch number 33. Comes in. And a strike and a side, and the strikeout brings it in to this one. The Rebels pick up the win at home here in Klein Scott Field over the 3-1-6 Diamond Kings, and they avenge the previous 2 losses on the season to the Diamond Kings. Took place on June 10th. The Rebels pick up their 4th win of the season. And next up, as I mentioned earlier on, 24 hours from now, the Newton Rebels are going to be back facing off against these same Diamond Kings here in Klein Scott Field. Make sure to come out and join them as they try to go on a bit of a run here. Once again, a big sequence of home matchups to end out the season for the Newton Rebels. Counting this game, the final 8 of their 12 regular season games will be played here in Klein Scott Field. Make sure to come out. No excuses. and support your Newton Rebels. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight to see the Rebels pick up their 4th win of the season, 2nd of which here in Klein-Scott Field. My name is Adrian Holguin. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll be back tomorrow. You should